up, everyone? It's Gray Shirt Guy, rocking the gray shirt as always. We're doing a day one update. It is the end of day one for the Tallarn 2,000 point build and paint challenge. We're trying to do this entire army in 7 days. And we made some pretty beefy progress. We got all of our infantry assembled, ready to go. And we started on our first HQ choice, which is a Demolisher Tank Commander. And it's been a lot of work. I haven't worked with resin in a while. And of course all the Victorian miniature models that are using for the Tallarn, all their Desert Scorpion line are resin or 3D printed material, which I believe is also some form of resin. I'm not exactly sure the technology behind the 3D printing. But so what I had in my order is I had 3 infantry squads, and then I had 3, what do they call them? 3 missile launcher teams, heavy weapon teams. I had 2 tank commander little figures that I'm going to pop out of the tank, and then I had 1 platoon commander, which you could use also as a company commander if you wanted to, which is kind of a thematic Desert Scorpions character for the Tallarn. And I had to do a few modifications, so let's go into those modifications. See if I can. Let me switch over. Let me set the camera up, and we'll get a proper zoom, and we'll move on from there. All right, here we go. We have the Demolisher tank that started. Let me get the lighting a little bit better. And so I just tried to get this one knocked down the last hour, but I was having trouble with trying to clear a clog in my glue, which took a while to find a proper tool for it. But yeah, and we're gonna throw on the Demolisher cannon and some multi-melt responsons and a heavy bolt response in the front. But so that's one of the 2 tank commanders. But let's get in the infantry, which is what was the main focus today. So we have 2 male squads. Let me move this out of the way so we're not super out of alignment. So we have a female squad here of the Desert Scorpions. We got the sergeant with a power sword and a plasma gun. Am I properly zoomed in on these ladies? It's hard to tell sometimes through this viewfinder how well zoomed in they are, so hopefully we'll get a good shot. I could probably put a box behind it. Let me do that just to get a better focus. Okay. All right, so yeah, and basic infantry squad. We got a plasma gun, 8 las cannons, and a sergeant with a power sword and a plasma pistol. Now, as you can see, anything that's black is 3D printed by Victorian Miniatures, and anything that's this whitish gray is still their resin molding. The female models, if you're gonna buy the Desert Raider kit, get the female models, because the body sculpts had so few mold lines, and the 3D printed arms, they were a dream. I finished this entire squad in half the time it took me to do the male, any one of the male squads. There was so much flashing to remove from the male squads. It was a bit of a tough pickle. The only downside is in the female kit, she doesn't come with a bolt gun hand, where on the male kit he does come with a bolt gun hand, which or what would you consider to be a bolt gun hand. So it's kind of like, but she did have a plasma pistol, and I did have some extra points, so I went with a plasma pistol for her. But we even got a lady who's got a grenade in her hand, and I think these ones fit really well. The only gap filling I may have to do on these ones is on the, I don't know if you could see it there, but let me see if I can get it to focus. Like right underneath that canteen, there's a little inject mold gap filling. So if you're gonna buy these, I recommend the female sculpts or any of the newer sculpts that Victorian Miniature does. It seems like some of the older sculpts that weren't 3D printed or didn't have 3D printed parts, they seemed, I'm not saying quality control was terrible, but they were just a little bit more difficult to put together. But anyway, so let's move on. So we got our females unit here. We'll throw on one of the male squads. And so for these guys, I wanted to go power sword bolt gun for the sergeant. Same thing, plasma gun, just las guns and everything. And I wanted to go with the power sword And the power sword and the bolt gun on the Victoria miniature kit are all in the right hand. And so I had to find some bits from a Scion kit and a bolt gun. I think the bolt gun's from like Mark IV, Mark III Space Marines. And it had so the Scion kit had like a bolt pistol there, and I swapped it out. And so now we got our bolt gun, and he's just gonna have like a robotic hand. Yeah, there's one of the things is with the male kits for this line, for the Desert Scorpions line, is there's a lot of gap filling that's going to need to be done before I prime them, and so that's just gonna take a little bit of time. And obviously, I'd say it was about 2.5 hours per 10-man infantry squad. And so here we got the last one, and so this is what the kind of the bolt gun looks like. And I happen to have just an extra Catachan with a big sword, so that's going to count as this power sword. And I thought it kind of looks cool having like a Desert Raider with a big burly arm. And even though it doesn't like scale fit super well, but and then another plasma gun, and these guys are going to be rocking it pretty well. After I do all the gap filling, I did I did clean up some mold lines as best I could. They were not, at least on the male kits, the mold lines did take quite a bit of cleanup. Now for these heavy missile, or these missile launcher teams, were free, air quotes. So if you buy on Victoria Miniatures, at least as of when I bought these, if you buy $50 worth of models, you get one free character model. And so I was buying like $150 worth of something, and so I got these 3 missile launcher teams for the Desert Scorpions for free. And so my plan is for the infantry squads is to actually take out 2 of the lasgun individuals and put one of the missile launcher teams in. Or if I was going to shift around points, I could either in the future, if I get more and I want to go up to higher, over 2,000 points, or if I want to reorganize the army a little bit, these could be a heavy weapon team. But for right now, for getting this project done, I'm going to paint them. I'm just going to paint all the infantry. It's an extra 6 models. I don't think it'll be that huge of a deal. I might kind of set them off to the side, but I plan on batch painting everything all together. But for the actual like battle report that I plan on doing in the future, it will have these will be part of the infantry squads for the missile teams. But these 2 were okay, I would say, in you know, mold lines and everything. They weren't ideal. They weren't the best, but they were all right. This one right here was super warped, and it did not, you know, as you see, the barrels all kind of miscast. And this one, if I was actually paying for this one, also there's like a huge gap right here where the leg is. I'm gonna have to stuff a whole bunch of green stuff and kind of smooth that out. But I have the tools to do it. But this one kit right here was definitely not good in the quality control. And I kind of wonder if it's like, oh, you know, oh, it's the free model, so we're gonna toss it in there. I don't know if that's 100%. It might just be, hey, Victoria Miniatures, they do on their website say if there's a problem with the model, you can contact them and they'll get you one back. And but these will be fine once I put some gap filler in there and I paint them all up. And they're not for a competition, so I'm not super too worried about it. And then the last 3 models, oh geez, hold on, knocked my background over. The last 3 models we got are the 2 ladies that will be the tank commanders. One's got her binoculars high, one's got her binoculars kind of low mid, and then we have our platoon commander, who she was fine. The only problem is the bottom of her sword broke off, and I have no idea where it went. It was like a little skull. That's gone. It's gone into the carpet. And when I assembled her, the hand for the plasma pistol just snapped straight off, so I had to glue that on. But aside from that, I think she's a really good sculpt. I just wish she wasn't so fragile, and I'm definitely gonna have to gap fill this. Well, I don't know, maybe I might not gap fill it and make it look like a tattered cloak, but there's definitely some gap filling gonna have to happen on at least a lot of these models. So that will be what we're doing after we finish assembling everything. And so yeah, that's it. And I'm gonna go make some dinner here. And you all have a great day. This has been the first day, and see you around. Goodbye.